Hi, my network. This is the next installment in work life harmony. This past week has been one of a bit of uh, ups and downs for me. And it's interesting, I was contemplating how do I maintain the harmony that I seek in the midst of things that are sometimes a bit challenging. And someone reminded me that I once I set certain boundaries or principles, that I am a fierce defender of those principles. And I'll give you the example. Um, Early on in my relationship with my now wife, but when we were dating, we had a situation where somebody close to us needed they were in some financial difficulty, and Jessica and I talked about it, and she said, "Well, we can loan them X amount of money." And I told her at the time, I said, "I have a principle. I don't loan anybody. I care about money." And she looked at me. This was early on in our relationship, so she didn't know who I was really, or we were learning about each other during that time. So she said, "What do you mean you don't loan people you care about money?" I said, "No, because now we've created an awkward situation. And if for some reason, their challenges continue and they're unable to repay that loan, it becomes a very awkward situation. And I never want to lose a friend over money. So I've set certain boundaries around if I have the resources available and someone's in need, I will give it to them, and I will let them know that there is no expectation of repayment. I don't want it back. This is a gift, and they can do with it what they need. But um, they have to think twice or maybe three or four times before coming back to me after this. Um, it's got to be a real emergency if I were to break the rule and offer a second time. That kind of support. So I harkened back to that moment and I said to myself, well, that's right. That's one of the things that allows me to create these boundaries and create harmony in my life, because that particular principle has guided my actions and decisions around that type of thing throughout my life. And I've also got the same guiding principles about how I lead and manage my company. There's certain boundaries that I set for myself and that I expect um, to be respected from others that I work with or partners that I work with. And I don't compromise on those values or those boundaries, because if I do that, then I'm creating that kind of disharmony intentionally, because I know what my rule is and I'm the one who's violating it. It better be a darn good reason why I'm violating that rule. So those are some of the things that I was reflecting upon this week, because it's been a great week, but a little bit of friction in there. And I recognize that as I work my way through the friction, that it's the principles that guide me that help me create balance and harmony. And I'm going to maintain that, because that's one of those things that um, it can be kind of your safe port in a storm, so to speak, when there's a lot coming at you. And if you have the time or the opportunity to pause and recognize what are your principles that guide your decisions, and are you aligning the decisions that you're contemplating with those principles, right? So being intentional about taking that moment, recognizing that you're in the middle of something that could be a little stormy, and how do you work your way through that in a way that honors who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. And for me, that harmony is what I'm continuing to strive for. So um, that's the sharing for this installment. Hopefully, it helps, and gets some of us or some of you out there thinking about your own kind of touchstone, your own guiding principles that will help guide you on your quest towards work-life harmony. And with that, as always, I wish you all well, and most importantly, I wish you all what you deserve. Be well.